Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astroguide Mysore. Today, let us understand the position of Mars in the fourth house for the ascendant sign of Aries. This was a series which I was doing earlier for all planets for the ascendant sign of Aries, and I'll be doing it for all the ascendants. So, I am now trying to finish it as fast as possible. So, let us see. So we know that Mars, when it is posited in the fourth house for the ascendant sign of Aries, it is posited in the sign of Cancer. So Mars is not the Karaka for the fourth house, but it is a very, it's very strongly posited when it is posited in the third, the sixth, and the 11th houses. But Mars also gives a very strong uh, karakatva of Mars, that is the signification of Mars, is strengthened when it is posited in the fourth house. The major karakatva of Mars is house building, earthwork, and transaction in real estate. So when Mars is in the fourth house, it has to give the native all these virtues and strength, and also the idea of how to become an architect, an engineer, an electrical engineer, so on. But in this case, what has actually happened is that Mars gets debilitated. So the nakshatras in which Mars falls in Karkataka Rashi, that is Cancer, is Punarvasu, which these are the possibilities where Mars can fall. So Punarvasu fourth pada, that is Punarvasu 4. Then you have Pushya first, second, third, and fourth quarter. Then you have Ashlesha 1, 2, 3, 4. So Punarvasu Padam, Pushya Ashleshantam Karkatakam. So the Ashlesha second quarter, Mars gets exalted in the D9 chart. So this is a positive point. So Ashlesha second quarter. So let us see. Ashlesha falls in the Mercurian quarter, that is, it is owned by Mercury. And the last line, I have explained this particular thing when I was when I have taught about how to plot Navamshas. So it comes in the last line, and the last line, which is owned by Mercury, one of these, because it is Sun, Rahu, and Mercury. So Mercury, the Navamsha will start from Sagittarius, the first pada, that is the first quarter. The second quarter will fall in Capricorn, third in Aquarius, the fourth in Pisces. So Ashlesha 2, that is Ashlesha 1 in Sagittarius, Ashlesha 2 in Capricorn. So hence, the Ashlesha second quarter, if Mars is posited in Cancer, the sign of Cancer, in Ashlesha second quarter, then Mars gets Nicha Bhanga Raja Yoga. It goes through Nicha Bhanga Raja Yoga. So in this case, the native will have very good property or will be good in real estate business. So he would like to stay in his hometown and establish himself with regard to the businesses happening in the local, uh, you know, land holdings. So they are more into business rather than going into jobs. It's that has to be confirmed from the 10th lord also, and the 10th house also. But this particular position of Mars will give you the tendency, the Lagnadipati going to the fourth house, because it's the Lagnadipati, ascendant lord, going to the fourth house, becoming Nicha. So if both transit of the fourth Lord Moon is strong, then the native can enjoy the fruits of the Ruchaka Yoga. So the Ruchaka Yoga, sometimes, if you understand, is seen, not sometimes, always is seen when Mars is posited in its own sign or in its sign of exaltation, and it is the Kendra, that is the quadrant from ascendant. But here, because it is going through Nichabanga Raja Yoga, the results for the Navamsha would be as good as a Ruchaka Yoga. So, though Mars is weak, it will still bestow good benefic results to the native. This is when it is posited in Ashlesha Nakshatra, second quarter. Coming to the negative points of this placement. So, if we all know that the negative points can be understood by the placements, once again, I do the same thing of the D9 chart. So, if it is posited in Punarvasu fourth pada, then the Lagna Lord Mars becomes very weak as it is debilitated in both the D1 and the D9 chart. So many people keep asking me this particular question as to if Mars is becoming Vargottama in the D1 and the D9 chart, is it strong? If it is strong in the D1 and it's strong also in the D9, then it becomes double strong. But here it is weak and again weak, debilitated and debilitated. It becomes double debilitated. So the Lagna Lord becomes very weak. So poor in education, break in education, difficult to complete the undergraduation itself. People will tend to go into business before they finish graduation. There is always unrest and unhappiness in the family because of altercations with the family members, some arguments with the family members. So the personality itself becomes like frustrated. So this particular Mars posited in the fourth house in the Vahana Sthana, because the fourth house is also for vehicles. And when Mars is debilitated and weak in the Vahana Sthana, being the Lagnadipati, and if the eighth house is weak in the chart, I'm telling two combinations here, then there might be difficulty through vehicles like accidents. So people have to be careful with regard to this. And they can also get into problems related to the blood, impurities related to the blood, weakness due to deficiency of hemoglobin, etc. So cardiac problems and regular problems like BP and other things can be seen in the chart. Only if this particular Mars is associated with Jupiter, or is associated in the sense it is conjunct with Jupiter, or if Mars is aspected very well by Jupiter, let's say from a good house, that is from Meena Rashi, or is posited with Jupiter, which gives a very strong Nichabanga Raja Yoga, then most of the difficulties are solved and it becomes a very good Raja Yoga, which actually gives more good points for the native to be wealthy and into excellent lifestyle. If this goes into the negative, that is, if Jupiter also is not that well posited in the chart, then the seventh house has to be very clearly verified. If the seventh house is weak, then the aspect of a negative Mars on the seventh house, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So Mars sitting in the fourth house, debilitated, will aspect the seventh house by giving problems to the seventh house, making the seventh house weak. The seventh house represents marital life, married life, and uh, spouse. So unnecessary, arguments and difficulty with spouse is also seen. So on the overall, this is not such a great placement for Aries ascendant, because the ascendant lord himself, Mars, becomes debilitated in the fourth house. So thank you very much for today's class.